The four of them sat before an assembly of government officials, eyes tired, hearts heavy, forced to explain how their lives had changed in an instant. Reed Richards spoke first, calm but intense, describing the mission that had taken them into space. He and his oldest friend Ben Grimm had been working aboard an experimental station studying cosmic phenomena. Susan Storm was there for her scientific expertise. Her younger brother Johnny Storm was there simply because he wanted to be impulsive and eager for anything exciting. When Reed's instruments unexpectedly detected a massive surge of cosmic energy, no one anticipated the ferocity of the radiation that followed. Earlier that morning, Johnny, bored and craving adventure, had slipped out of the station without permission, turning off his intercom so no one could call him back. Ben, worried for him, donned a suit and followed. As they floated outside the station, arguing and laughing, alarms began screaming inside. Reed's voice crackled urgently over the comm system, calling everyone back to the shuttle. Reed calculated an early solar flare that none of them had seen coming, and the crew rushed to escape. They were too late. Brilliant waves of radiation flooded the station and the shuttle, overwhelming every sensor and blinding their vision. The shuttle hurtled back toward Earth, plummeting through atmosphere and clouds until it crashed hard into the terrain far below. When emergency teams reached them, each of the four survivors was changed. Reed staggered out first, his limbs stretching and twisting in unnatural ways as he painfully pulled himself upright. Nurses backed away in shock. Ben was unconscious, but his body had become massive and rocky, like a living boulder with immense strength. Susan emerged next, her presence flickering like a mirage as light bent around her, revealing she could vanish from sight. Johnny stood last, flames dancing over his skin without burning him, fire licking the ground beneath his feet, yet leaving him unharmed. In the days that followed, they awoke in a hospital, confronted by disbelief and fear. Medical staff recoiled, machines malfunctioned, and the world began to see that these four were no longer ordinary humans. Each grappled with the reality of their new forms. Reed discovered he could stretch his body to incredible lengths without pain. Susan found she could disappear entirely and reappear at will. Johnny learned to control the flames that enveloped him. Ben, bewildered and afraid of his own strength, struggled with the weight of his stone body and the loss of what he had once been. At the hearing, senators and officials pressed them with questions about danger to the public and whether these new abilities could be controlled. Reed stood firm. He promised they would use their gifts responsibly. He spoke of duty and purpose, insisting that their transformation was not a curse, but a challenge they would meet with discipline and honor. Though fear and uncertainty loomed in the eyes of many who watched, Reed's resolve planted a seed of hope, and a name soon followed: the Fantastic Four. After the session, stepping out into the world that buzzed with speculation and awe, Reed told the others that if they were to endure as more than spectacular anomalies, they must bind themselves together, not just by circumstance, but by choice. They agreed. They needed direction and a place to call their own. The Baxter Building in Manhattan became that base, a headquarters from which they could watch, respond, and protect. Before settling into routines of research and readiness, Reed suggested a simple act of normalcy. Leaving the Baxter Building's back door behind them, they walked together into the city toward a small, noisy bar. Inside, amid music and laughter, they found a brief respite from the weight of extraordinary expectation. Johnny laughed, Susan smiled, Ben eased his burdened thoughts, and Reed allowed himself a quiet moment of satisfaction. For the first time in days, they were not four individuals changed by fate, but a team linked by fire and stone, by light and possibility. In that simple shared evening, they became something more than survivors. They became the Fantastic Four.